Hello Redditors, welcome back to Tales Against Humanity. Now, let's get started. In today's episode, entitled man gets upset I chose my cat over him. So, I had been talking to this guy for maybe a month. He seemed nice and I honestly really liked him. However, I now have blocked his number. We had decided to go get some lunch together. We actually went to my favorite sushi restaurant. Everything seemed fine until he goes, "Do you have a cat?" Now, he had never asked me if I had pets before. I have 6 at home, though only 2 of them are mine, while 3 of them are my sister's, and 1 is my mom's. The 2 that are mine are cats. One is a Russian blue named Simba, and I'm not sure what breed the other one is, but her name is Pokey. Anyway, I said yes, and he goes, "So, that gray one on the gate was yours." "Me? You mean Simba?" "Yeah, he likes to watch people walk by on the gate. And well, you should get rid of him." I just stared at him in shock. Obviously, I didn't expect that. Me what? Him, get rid of him. I hate cats. This was when I just got up, left a 20 for my side of the bill, and left. He followed after me and asked why I was leaving, and I simply said, "I'm not going to waste my time with someone who tells me to get rid of my cat because they don't like them." Him, "You're seriously choosing an animal over me." Me, "I've known you for a month. I'd had my cat for almost 6 years. You're right on choosing him over you. Now off." And with that, I left and blocked his number. Story 2. Karen wants to be treated in hospital before a 3-day-old baby. I gave birth to my daughter on Tuesday, then were released Thursday. On Thursday, we saw our pediatrician after being released from the hospital. Turns out my daughter's bilirubin, jaundice levels, were highish. She was born at 37 weeks due to me having preeclampsia, so she's technically early to the doctors, so they're being precocious in checking her levels, don't get into a dangerous level. Since Thursday, we've had to go to the pediatrician/hospital on the weekend, since doctors' offices are closed, to get her blood drawn, to keep checking. On Saturday, we had a doctor's order prescription to have her blood drawn at the lab, but had to be taken and wait in the ER. There were 3-4 people sitting in the ER when we arrived. He checked in, my fiancé and I sit, waiting to be registered. The ER desk worker recognized us from the other day, I guess from when I was in the hospital giving birth, and asked about us and my daughter. How she is, how many days she is, why she's here, etc. I'd also like to point out my daughter is extremely quiet for a newborn as well, literally never made a peep in the waiting room. The registration woman comes out with that rolling cart not even 2 minutes later, walks over to us and begins the process when old lady Karen pipes up, who was on the other side of the woman. "I've been waiting TWO hours," checks me in first. 1, it has to be completely false due to how quickly the woman came out to us and how dead the ER currently was. 2, she literally cut the woman off as she's asking us questions, which is rude regardless. Don't get me wrong, I can understand it being annoying someone getting attention before you when you were there first, but there are nicer and politer ways of going about it. The registration woman gave the woman a look, then to me sympathetically. My daughter wasn't fussy or anything, so I had no problem waiting. Gave her a small nod as if to say, "I understand." Then the woman began checking in Karen. Only Karen didn't speak to the woman, only shoved her paperwork into the woman's hand and sat quietly again. Once the registration woman was done, I think just confirming certain things due to her not needing anything from Karen, checked us in, thanked both my party and the woman, to which of course my fiancé, and I thanked her back out of politeness. Karen glared over at the worker and us. After about 15-20 minutes, Karen told, not asked, told a worker to tell the ER receptionist she's been waiting TWO hours and to call the lab technicians down. Again, the ER receptionist gets the message from the passing worker, gives Karen a look and proceeds to call/page the lab again while making a slightly annoyed sound. After a moment, the receptionist turned to my fiancé and I, apologizing to us, saying the technician would be down in a moment and that on Saturdays they only have 1 blood technician. A few minutes later, the very lovely technician came down and immediately came to us, helping us gather our stuff out of kindness. The receptionist made some sort of comment about Karen is also getting a lab done, to which the tech made an odd kind of sound. The feeling I got was the receptionist pulled the tech on the phone about Karen causing issues, and that an infant was waiting. Well, good, you can follow us. My fiancé and I took an extra second to get the car seat picked up, diaper bag, etc. So Karen had a moment to stand with the tech who was complimenting us on our daughter, to which Karen said nicely, but slightly smug, "Yeah. What a cute baby." We took a short walk to the lab area. Karen speed walking past us, talking to the tech about how she doesn't even understand why she's here. She could be doing other things on a Saturday. She's been waiting TWO hours, etc. While the tech is nicely smiling and agreeing, apologizing she's the only blood technician on the weekends. We approach the room, to which the tech turns, smiles smugly, and tells Karen, "Ma'am, you can have a seat right here. Y'all can come right inside." Karen, "What? Yes, ma'am, the seat's right here. We'll be done in just a minute." Karen huffed, giving my again 4-day-old baby a look as if it's her fault. Karen was a complete and utter pain in the making a receptionist and tech want to make her life even harder. Again, my daughter hasn't made a sound and was perfectly fine. Karen easily could have gone before us, and both of us were here for blood to be drawn. But I guess Karen had to wait even longer due to her sucky attitude towards staff. Story 3. My new neighbor asked me if I could drive his friend, who I've never met, to the airport on a weekday afternoon, because I work from home. New neighbors across the hallway in my building, nice enough, a couple a bit younger than me. One of them doesn't work due to mental health, and then one of them works at a company his dad runs, and then works bar shifts in the evenings. Sounds rough, I get it. I have a career as a video game designer, currently work from home. At first he seemed like he was fanboying me. Then it seemed like bitter backhanded comments. "Oh, you probably earn more in a month than I do in a year." I've told him I highly doubt that's the case, but I always change the subject. Anyway, I have a car, they don't. I offered to help if they needed to pick up any last items that were too big to carry. They asked if I could pick up a rug for them in town. They'd come with because they don't want to pay the delivery fee, which was very small, and how they're so tight for mine. These are the same people who, when they ordered takeout, they bought a promotional t-shirt to be delivered with it, more expensive. Anyway, I keep my views to myself. I happily helped. Anyway, they were very friendly, grateful, but they did ask me far too many questions about my job, my money, etc. I didn't think much of it at the time. But yeah, the other night, really late, he messaged me asking if I could give his friend a ride to the airport the next day in the afternoon and said, "She's really cute, man. She'd think you were a gentleman. Not to pimp you out, but you know, taxis are so expensive, so you'd be really helping out, and obviously I can't drive, so I suggested you'd be up for it." I was so shocked, I just politely replied, "Hey, would love to be helpful, but I can't just take an hour and a half out of my working day." And he just replied, "Oh, fair enough, I'm keeping a distance now." I hate it when kindness is morphed into being self-entitled. Story 4. Cattle X and cousin think I'm doing bad in life. Oh, but the tables have turned. I, 26 female, dated my ex, 43 male, from 2018 until late 2019. I met him while at a get-together, and his cousin, who is the same age as me, introduced us, and it was a click. We did not care about the age gap. We were happy and in love until I decided to take him to a family gathering. If I could take back time, I would not have gone after what happened next. I presented him to everyone, and one of my cousins, 25 female, had the habit to go after the guys I would spend time together or try to date. She functioned as she could not stand him, and I was proud that he would clap back, but the changes happened after the event. We would always go on little dates, and he would not be available. We would take road trips, and he did not want to. He would not be intimate with me, would start little arguments with me for no reason, started comparing me to her, something I despise, and would not even let me visit his apartment. I had a feeling that he was cheating on me with her. When I would say her name, he would go pale and start stuttering. So I decided to investigate. All his texts would be transferred to me, thank you Apple, as evidence of his cheating. A coworker would tell me his schedule, and I had an extra key to his apartment, just in case I wanted to catch him in the act. So one day when he said that he would work extra hours, a coworker of his confirmed that he left his workplace, and I decided now is the time. I went over to his apartment, and my suspicion was true. He was having with my cousin. I wanted to scream, cry, or commit even a first-degree murder, but I was frozen in place with a poker face. When they did notice me, they tried to make up excuses. I just took a picture, sent it to a WhatsApp GC, grabbed my stuff, and left. As an act of revenge from both, I would receive photos or videos of them together. I was disgusted with both. I did cry and suffer. I'd even go to the point where I deleted all my social media, and I would avoid any family gatherings because if I would see them I wanted to rip their eyes out. But I decided to change and work on myself. It was the best 2 years of my life. I started kickboxing workout, seeking therapy, learning new languages, cooking classes, yoga, and going out more. About a year ago, I decided to become an Instagram and TikTok influencer, by telling the stories of my life and exploring my country, Puerto Rico, and started to enjoy it. I'd even started dating an old high school classmate, where our chemistry is amazing and who treats me like I deserve it. So 2 weeks ago, I was invited to a family gathering and he tagged along. I was scared that history repeated itself, and boy, I was proven wrong. I saw my ex and my cousin, and he looked miserable, and she started flirting with my BF in front of him, and my BF called her out and embarrassed her in front of everyone. Everyone was happy, but she was mad throughout the entire evening, and at that moment I realized that is amazing. Throughout the days while uploading the content to Instagram, I received a new follower, and it is my ex. I let him be since he could see how well I am doing without him. The best form of revenge is showing an ex how well you are doing without them.